Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Real. I have Adam on Zoom, and it's Christmas in the Kanga Motorsports studio.
I feel Christmassy over here just looking at myself over there.
Look how festive Flatham is in his red hat.
It's great. I love it.
That's as festive as I've gotten this year. This is the least Christmassy I've felt in my whole life.
See, I kind of feel almost the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my kid really loves Christmas. I'm kind of the Grinch. I'm kind of bah humbug. And by kind of, I mean I'm really bah humbug. But it's hard not, like, his excitement for it is kind of infectious, and it's hard not to get kind of into the spirit of it. So I'm still incredibly annoyed by the amount of money that my significant other has spent on gifts for people.
Yeah, I get that.
But if there's literally more than 50 cents spent on anything, I'm going to be incredibly annoyed by it. So that's just the way it is. But other than that, like, I'm feeling more into it this year than normal.
See,
we have a Christmas tree set up.
That is new for you, because you were anti-Christmas tree for a long time.
Last year we bought a Christmas tree and we set it up, but Logan wasn't really all that interested in it. This year he was really excited about it. It was a big deal. It was a big fun thing. He was pissed that there was nothing under it for the longest time.
That's fair.
He's been scheming on how he's going to capture Santa Claus. Katie has yelled at me more than once about not ruining that for the whole Santa Claus thing for him. So, it is what it is.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. Normally I'd try to do things to kind of get into the Christmas spirit. So, the first week we were in the house, I went and put lights all around, on the outside. And then ever since I realized the 10 people that see my house don't need to see lights. So screw that. And then we still have a Christmas tree, but we didn't put it up until December 8th. Because we were like, we'll do it after Thanksgiving. And then we didn't. It's like, we should probably put that up. Yeah, just for us.
Either we need to do it or we're just not gonna, right?
I think both of us grew up in such traditional Christmassy, both our parents decorate the house, and it's we have all the shit that we have to do for Christmas. So I think we both would have felt guilty for no reason at all if we hadn't had a Christmas tree up. So there's a Christmas tree, there is presents under it. And when you start thinking of the thought process of, I'll just spend $20 here, $30 there for everybody, that adds up really fast.
So fast. Oh, it's so frustrating.
No, the worst part is when you think you have this really awesome gift, and then you realize that your sister-in-law's sister bought her that gift. So now you have a present under the tree for your sister-in-law that's not going to be appreciated because somebody else already bought it for them. Son of a bitch.
Bought it also for Christmas?
Yeah, for her. So my brother's wife,
she bought it for herself?
She bought it. Her sister bought it for her. So she posted on Instagram or Snapchat. It's like, I got this. And I was like, damn it, I bought you that. So I went and printed the gift receipt, slapped it on the thing. I was like, well, there you go.
Damn it.
You know what we should do? You know how with wedding registries, you send it out and then it's one needed. And then when someone buys it, it says no longer needed. That's how everybody should do Christmas lists from now on.
Just don't do it.
Just do a Christmas registry.
No, just don't do it at all, Robbie.
No
just
list?
You know what? If I want something, I'll go and fucking buy it myself.
Yeah, Jess really complains about that because my list is very, very short every year. And then it's just gift cards. Because, I'm not going to wait. And half the shit I want specific to the race car.
Whereas way more money than anybody's going to spend on me or I would ever expect anybody to spend on me.
Exactly.
I would feel bad if people bought most of the things that it's if it's $20, I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah, I'm not going to think twice about it. It's going to be in the cart and ordered.
That's kind of the limit for most of my family members for any individual gift.
Right.
It's then let's just not do it. Let's just not bother. Just buy a couple things for Logan, and I'm not going to buy anything for you. You're not going to buy anything for me. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's what me and my little sister are doing. We've agreed that we'll buy stuff for each other's children, but that's it.
No, we're not there yet. We're still, the immediate family still buys gifts for each other, but now that, it keeps growing, obviously. So,
yeah, that's the other problem.
Well.
Parents decided to go and get divorced, and now I got more people I got to buy shit for.
Yay, 2 Christmases. Oh, God.
Humbug. Now you put me in a bad mood. Damn it.
Well, normally I kind of set aside time to watch Christmas movies just to kind of get me into like the Christmas mood. Because like in October, I always set aside time to watch horror movies. That's like my thing. I always watch. October is horror movie month. That's what I do.
Right.
And December is Christmas movie month, and I watch that cheesy Christmassy bullshit. And I get all merry. And this year I only watched like 3.
I'm pretty sure that Logan has watched the newer animated Grinch 3 times today.
That's a good one, though.
He loves that movie. He hasn't actually watched it 3 times today, but he does watch it a lot.
That's all right, though. That's good.
He quite enjoys that one. And that was where he got the idea to try and trap Santa Claus.
I like it. I think I tried that one time. I'm sure my parents will agree that I was devious enough that I was trying to get Santa and catch him.
It was never a thing in my house because our Christmases rotated locations.
Oh.
Like from year to year, we went to different families' houses for different Christmas, or for one Christmas, and then the next year would be at a different family member's house. And so I was like, well, how do you explain to this kid that Santa knows where you're going to be and stuff like that? And
he's all knowing. He's all knowing and all seeing.
We just didn't bother.
No, that's fair.
And I feel like that's probably what we're going to have to do for Logan moving forward. This year, we're not going anywhere Friday, so we'll be at our house, so it's fine. But moving forward, I don't know that it's going to work so well.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge.
Also, I don't care.
Have you seen the movie Fat Man yet?
No.
It's a great Christmas movie.
I've never even heard of Fat Man.
It's about Santa, and then the spoiled rich kid gets like a lump of coal for Christmas, and then he puts a hit out on Santa, and then the hitman goes to kill him, and then Santa has to like fight him off and kill him. It's like very violent and awesome.
I would say
it's great. It's a great Christmas movie, and it's absolutely on my Christmas list for movies. Like on my list of movies that I watch for Christmas, it's on the list now. It's great. Highly recommend it.
Yikes. We watched one. What was it? It was like Jingle and Jangle or something like that. Or what was it? It was some Netflix movie.
Never heard of it.
But it was new for this year. It's a Netflix movie. Something about Jangle. Something or another. It was actually really good, though.
Okay. What was it about?
And then we also watched Home Alone.
Yep, classic. That one's
bringing this back to cars. The pizza delivery boy drives an Omni.
Oh, yeah. I actually meant to message you.
I was so excited.
I recognized that when we were watching. I meant to message you. But then there's the other group. The group message was going on, and I told you guys all to leave me alone so I could watch Christmas movies.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my gosh. That's a fucking Omni. That's cool.
That's great. I recognize and see those more and more now, it seems.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
See what I've done to you, Robbie?
Yeah, ruined.
Foreshadowing a little bit. I've been listening to a bunch of our old episodes in anticipation of something that may or may not happen in the future. And to say that we have swung our opinions on things in the few years that we've been doing this is a vast understatement.
That doesn't sound right. We are stuck in our ways.
The amount of things that we have swung extremely from one end to the other. Oh my gosh.
Well, I know I have, for sure.
The first 20 or 30 episodes, Michael was like absolutely anti-Porsche. In fact, if anybody would have been the Porsche defender, it was me.
Yeah. I need to go back and listen to those. I always hated listening to my own voice, so I never went back and listened to stuff. Like even for this show, I had to listen to last year's episode, and I always get like cringy listening to myself.
5 years ago, though, man, we've been doing this a minute.
Yeah, we've changed a little bit in 5 years.
Yeah, I think everybody has. You just don't realize it until you record it and put it on the internet for everybody to listen to.
And then people listen to it. Then they're like, oh, yeah, well, you said. And then I have to defend myself over and over. E-man.
There is one where you specifically stated that you would never, ever LS swap your 240.
It was the best choice ever.
That was like word for word. If I was going to do that, I would buy a different car.
I still ended up buying a different car, but I also LS swapped it. And it was the right choice.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I just think it's hilarious that you were like so adamant about the fact that like, I'm done with this car. This is the last iteration of this car. I'm never going to do this again. This is exactly what I want in life. And then like literally 6 months later, you're yanking the SR20 out, parting it out on eBay and putting an LS in it.
I just wanted it to run, man. I just wanted to be able to drive it.
I get it.
And then I wanted to drive it fast and consistently. Oh, well.
For 20-minute time trial sessions.
Yeah, they're 20 minutes. Why wouldn't I drive for the whole session?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
And everybody gets faster as the session goes on, obviously.
That's not the case.
It takes 20 minutes to get up to speed sometimes.
You should have done more autocross, Robbie.
It's not too late. I can still do more autocross.
I mean, I suppose. Should we do a show? Like, the things we've planned on, or this is going to turn into a long show?
That's fine. This Christmas rant was brought to you by Kanga Motorsports, KangaMotorsports.com. You should go check it out. James is awesome. He's working on some stuff for us.
He's starting to do things again.
Yep, he's working on stuff for us, and so be on the lookout for that. And I'm not going to spoil it. But I know it's things that people have been asking for a long time that we've just kind of drug our feet on. And we spent basically all the rest of our money on this because we didn't really have any money because we didn't make any money. But we spent it all.
These are facts.
We spent all our money that we had this year on this. And
that's kind of how my life is.
Yeah. Yeah, KangaMotorsports.com. Just do this. Let's open this up.
First, before we do the full opener, we need to talk about Fantasy GP.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to congratulate our winner, who is not Robbie Veerhout, despite his efforts. And
it's so good.
You were carrying strong there for quite some time. I know that. And then you just kind of dovetailed off, and that was the end. And Alex and John, you were third, Robbie.
I know.
You were barely even podium. That's embarrassing, frankly.
If you're not first, you're last. And yeah, this is a wasted season.
And I damn near was.
Well, I mean, we're in the same boat. I mean, we're both lost. Whether you're third or whether you're 20th, you're a loser.
Yeah, I was in 20th.
I was the third loser. You were the 20th loser. We both lost.
Out of what is essentially 24 people, because the 25th person has 0 points, so he does not count.
Doesn't count.
So, not proud. It is what it is. But congratulations, Alex.
Hell yeah. With the team name of Coronavirus and Lime.
Which is hilarious.
Pretty good.
I am very proud of a lot of you guys' names.
Team names are great.
These team names are great. So, yeah, maybe next year I will be better about it. I'm not probably going to be better about it, though, but maybe next year.
I think I'll probably do what I did with regular fantasy football and just be consistently okay. Every year.
Well, third's pretty good.
Still a third place loser. I didn't win.
Yeah, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. I guess I didn't realize we were doing this to be pretty good, Adam. I thought we were doing this to win.
Dude, solidly average is kind of what we've been most of our lives, or most of our podcast career.
Yeah,
solidly average was good enough for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, let's do the opener. So, as is our tradition for this time of year, we're going to talk about cars that are not coming with us to 2021. As is the case with most of 2020, some of these are a real kick in the nuts.
Oh, well, it can't be that great of cars leaving.
Well, I mean, there's some that I'm really upset about, some that I really couldn't care less about, and some that I'm pretty happy about dying. So it's a good list this year.
Okay.
There's things to be said. There's nothing on here that's like, I didn't even know that was a car.
There's no
except maybe the very first one.
Are there any 2015 Mitsubishis on here still?
Nope. There's no 2015 Evo 10s on here anymore.
Huh.
They're all finally gone. So congratulations, Mitsubishi.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
So first up, the Acura Rlx, which I think is probably one of the cars that I feel nothing towards.
Nothing at all. Because I know the TLX, and I kind of like the TLX. I don't care about the RLX even a little bit.
No, I don't think I care about it. I don't really have much to say about it.
Actually, if that would have been driving down the road, I'd have been like, that's a variant of the TLX, just not the cool one. And I would have been wrong, but...
Yeah. So I don't really have much to say about that one. The Alpha 4C...
Oh,
which makes me very sad, Robbie.
I like the 4C a lot. I don't
so much.
I don't like the price, but I like the car.
You like the fact that it's made completely of carbon fiber?
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah, I lust after that. It's like a go-kart, man.
Yeah. She's dead, though, which I'm not that surprised by. They can't have sold well.
No. I think, well, they didn't really change in what? How many years has this been out? Like 5 years? At least?
I think that they were kind of just like maybe hit the market like a year or so, or in the year leading up to when we started. So I would say that this is the 5th or 6th year of them being a car, which means they're definitely due for a refresh.
At the very least.
At a minimum.
And we've had some really good cars in that same price market that people are more likely to lean towards.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd have a hard time spending the money that it costs on it.
Right. And then,
And I really like it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, bummed by it, to say the least.
Yeah, it's too bad, but I get it.
Yeah. They don't say, like, maybe, I mean, there might be another one coming along. Who knows? I'm sure Alpha's going to want something like that in their lineup. So
yeah, there will be a replacement.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. So the BMW i8, which I don't know that I really knew they still made.
I see them, but I just assume that they weren't brand new. I don't like them.
So
I don't care.
Yeah, it's not a very good car.
Ugly. It's ugly.
So it only has 18 miles of electric range, which is maybe by the time it came out, standards was a reasonable thing, but by today's standards is pathetic.
Wait. Oh, okay. It's hybrid. I thought it was electric. I was like, wait a second. No, it's talking about 18 mile. Okay.
It's a hybrid. Okay. So it has 18 miles of electric only range. And then after that's gone, you only get about 30 miles to the gallon, which is pretty pathetic.
Especially, I did not realize that at all. This is definitely
it's not very good at being what it was supposed to be.
No, and it's not like it's a gorgeous BMW. There's a lot of BMWs that are better looking than this car. But you see this one at like Cars and Coffee all the time. Like the guys that own it are super proud of them.
Oh, I'm sure. But
see ya.
I mean, yeah, I'm never gonna own one. The Buick Regal, which I am super bummed about.
I like the Regal.
I do too. Then you could get them with the GS, which was cool. As of the last few years, they were no longer manually optioned, but for the first few years they were making it, they were. The wagon was extra cool. I've seen a few of those. Cool. They are awesome.
No.
Don't you dare.
The wagons were not extra awesome.
Me up with the Christmas shit. Don't be doing this to me.
Wagons are for dullards. But the GS was great.
Robbie. We
haven't had a show in a week and a half. I got to fire some people up.
That's fair. Fair.
It's a new year, same me crap.
Yeah. The Cadillac CT6.
I'm not 89 years old, so I really don't care about that.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of power.
I don't know that I ever really noticed seeing these, if I do.
I just assume it's an old white businessman driving to and from the golf course. And I'm not. Yeah. I'm not that.
But I don't know. Makes 500 horse. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but they never take it out of third gear anyway. So I mean, what's the point?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Plus, it's like 500 horsepower of silence. Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, I think it's a twin turbo V6.
Oh, is it really? I was assuming it was some LS
or
variant.
Maybe, or is that their
550 is a lot of horsepower.
V8?
Yeah, it almost had to be, right? I don't know anything about them.
To the Googs, because now I kind of want to know. Now I kind of want to know. People ask, is the Cadillac CT6 being discontinued?
Yes.
Is the Cadillac CT6 a good car?
It's a 4.2 liter V8.
Yeah.
Which I assume is the 550 horsepower one. Or a 3.6 liter V6, which I assume is not the 550 horsepower one.
There is a CT6V.
Your dog's mad. 4.2.
My dog is mad about something.
What?
Yes, I don't know what.
What 4.2 liter are they running? I don't know anything about that engine.
They had their own, like the Blackwood or something like that. They had their own little V8 that they made. We talked about it a million years ago.
Okay. Kind of like the North Star?
Yeah.
Which would be like ungodly complicated.
I think this one's a little better.
Okay.
The engines are hand assembled at the Kentucky Corvette plant.
Huh.
For whatever that means. But yeah, the V was cool. So
yeah,
twin turbo V8 makes 550 horsepower, 5,700 RPM, and 640 pound-feet of torque.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a lot of torque.
Well, it's probably also weighs 10,000 pounds.
Yeah, true. That's a lot of torque. That's awesome.
Oh man, that's crazy.
That's a loop.
So in 2016, they sold 91, almost 9,200 of these in the United States and 5,800 of them in China. But by 2019, they sold basically 8,000 of them here in the United States and 22,600 of them in China.
Weird. I wonder if it's got to be a status symbol over there.
Well, I know that the Chinese love their long wheelbase cars, their big cars.
Right.
It's like you said, for status symbols. At one point, you could even buy like Audi A4s and A6Ls, which would be like long wheelbase, but they're lower, cheaper cars, which were not sold anywhere but in
the Chinese market.
In the Chinese market.
Huh.
So.
Well, there you go. So is it still? Do you know if this is just discontinued in America or dead altogether?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they're selling 22,000 of these in China. If they're going to.
In 2019, they sold 22,000 of them, and apparently their final assembly is in China.
Oh, damn.
So maybe they'll leave them there. I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do that.
Yeah. It's interesting. The Chevy Impala.
That surprises me. I assume
I'm
they
afraid
sold
that
those.
Chevy might be going the way of the Ford.
Just crossovers and pickups.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, the modern Impala was kind of a slap in the face to the vintage Impalas, but
yeah, sure. But they've been that way for like almost
30
20 years
yeah.
now. So people have kind of forgotten about it and moved on. So I don't know, man. It
was never a bad sedan.
It's a perfectly good car.
Just a car. Yeah.
If you just need a car, you want one that's not like a tiny little car, it's a perfectly good car.
I mean, a lot of people had Impalas.
Lots of people. They're great fleet vehicles.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's kind of a bum deal that some of these are dying. The Chevy Sonic, kind of feel the same way about that. It's a great little car. It's just a car. It does car things.
It's a great little car.
Right.
For when you need
if you don't need an Impala.
Right.
But you still, when you don't want an SUV, Sonic. Why not?
Yeah, if you live in the city or if you have a 60-mile commute, a Sonic. Makes sense.
Yeah, I would love to have a Sonic for my 88-mile round trip.
Right.
Commute. So, yeah. This one is a big one. The Dodge Grand Caravan.
No way.
Arguably one of the most iconic cars Dodge has ever made.
I can't argue with that because
like seriously, anybody our age, their parents owned one of their friends' parents owned one. Somebody if you've
ridden in one
between the age of like 15 and 35, you have been in a Dodge Grand Caravan at some point in your life, guaranteed.
For extended periods of time.
Yeah, probably.
So we never had a Dodge.
Going downstream. Yeah, we never had one either. But I mean, well, that's not true.
You owned one. Yeah, you owned one. You were super pumped about it. Had the stow and go seating and
had one. Oh, it was rad. The raddest.
So, are they just getting rid of their minivans altogether and just moving towards?
So Chrysler
SUVs?
still makes the Pacifica.
Oh, okay.
And apparently they also make the less option loaded, more budget friendly Voyager.
I don't even
which is basically the replacement for the Caravan.
Okay.
So I think Chrysler now only makes those two things. And Dodge will just make trucks and SUVs.
And high horsepower sports cars.
And
muscle cars.
And, well, Sorry. Easy on the sports car term there, Robbie.
Not sports cars.
Let's call them muscle cars because I think that's what they are.
We'll go with that.
And then you've got Jeep.
Oh, yeah. Jeep.
But they don't make any small cars. Chrysler doesn't make any cars at all. I don't think they have any SUVs anymore. I don't think they have like a rebadged Durango like they used to have. I think it's just the Pacifica and the Voyager.
I have no idea, so I'm going to go with that. I completely agree.
If I was in the market for a brand new vehicle for Katie, she would be in a Chrysler Pacifica. 100%, hands down. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
With the stow and go,
I would just go, and I wouldn't even drive other vehicles. I would go and I would buy a Pacifica because I think they're fantastic.
Just do like on the commercials and just show up with a Pacifica with a bow on it in the driveway and be like, "Merry Christmas!" Because I mean, obviously that's what everybody does.
I mean, I feel like of anybody that could get away with it, that would be me. But like most people probably should maybe consider talking to their significant others before making some sort of purchase like that.
You've seen the commercial, the Chevy commercial where the guy comes home and he's got the brand new, I think it's a Silverado, and then it's got to be Suburban, I think. But anyways, so yeah, he's got these $60,000 to $80,000 vehicles that he didn't talk to his wife about, showed up and just bought these 2 brand new cars for Christmas. And every time I see that commercial, Jess and I turn to each other and say, if you ever did this, you better come home with divorce papers too.
Well, what I think is funny is there's one now I've seen where he buys her a puppy and she buys him a 2500 Silverado High Country or whatever they are. And like, man, if that's equal trade in her mind, like that's fucking awesome.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Just here's your dog. Buy me a truck. That sounds great.
Yeah, that'd be all right. I mean, until you get the payment, but yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So up next, my favorite car on this list for going away, my favorite car to not make it through, as in I'm really glad this car isn't going to continue being made. The Dodge Journey. Hallelujah, Robbie.
Isn't it?
It's finally done.
Isn't it just the is that because it's the same size as a Durango?
No, it's smaller than a Durango.
But don't they have the nitro for that? Or is that not a thing either?
I don't know that they make that anymore.
I clearly don't shop around for these cars.
Man, we're so bad at this sort of stuff. I don't think they make it anymore.
We've been consistent.
Dodge Journey's got it's a front wheel drive.
No rear wheel drive?
And it has a 4-cylinder.
So it's like a RAV4.
I don't think it's much bigger than a RAV.
It looks freaking huge in that picture.
Yeah, but it's not.
Okay. So it's like the replacement to the Nitro?
No, because the Nitro is bigger than this is, I think.
There is no way the Nitro is bigger than this. There's no way. It's huge.
I don't know, man.
It looks huge in the picture.
The Nitro never made any sense to me, so I can't say for sure.
I'll never forget the commercial because it literally falls through the earth. like from one side of the earth to the other. And then everyone was
What do you think would happen if you could do that?
We would save so much time on travel.
I think you just get stuck in the middle, Robbie.
And the liquid hot magma.
Well, yeah, but like ignoring those sort of things. Like, do you think you'd like, would you just like jump and then just kind of slingshot back and forth and slowly lose momentum until eventually you're just stuck in the middle? I feel like that's what would happen, right?
Yes, sure. I haven't given this any thought.
You should.
There's a book I have.
Absolutely.
There's a book I have called, oh God, what is it? It's called What If? And it's written by the guy that does the XKCD comics. And he's like I think it's like a mathematician or an engineer or a scientist. And like he writes all these really goofy, like nerdy, obviously, engineering type comic strips. And then he's at a table book, like a coffee table book. And that book, it just goes through and he mathematically solves all these type of ridiculous questions. So like, you know, what would it take to do something with it, like, you know, throw a T-Rex across the earth or whatever, and he does like the math behind it. So the nerd in me enjoyed that a lot.
That's hilarious.
But yes, that question that you just asked is exactly something he would answer.
So I've always wondered, Robbie. Also, if you rip the wings off a fly, does it become a walk?
Yes.
These are the questions that haunt me. So, next, the Ford Fusion.
Aw.
Yeah, as part of Ford getting rid of all things that are awesome, they're getting rid of the Fusion.
I still think it's a mistake to completely go away. They should like have one vehicle. One.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And it can't be the Mustang.
No.
They need one sedan.
Well, now they have the Mustang that's a crossover, Robbie.
That's not a sedan. They need one sedan. I mean, there will always be at least one company doing it, but like, there needs to be a company making small vehicles. There will always be a need for small vehicles.
Yeah, it'll be Honda.
And they're going to run the market if we have any sort of like gas crisis again.
Nah, because by the time we have a gas crisis, everybody will be in EVs.
No.
Our next gas crisis will be a battery-related crisis.
That's fair. Or an infrastructure crisis.
Yeah.
That'd be a good prediction.
That's a good prediction. It probably won't happen next year.
All right, we'll just say it now. Like, I predict a gas crisis before an electric crisis, and you predict an electric crisis before the next gas price crisis.
All right, we're going to have to do this for like 10 or 15 more years before that comes to fruition. But when it does, we'll double back on this.
That's fair. Someone will remember, like, well, you said.
Yeah.
What's that like?
So, Speaking of Honda, the Honda Civic Coupe.
What?
Just the Coupe, Robbie.
But they need that.
Nope. Nobody buys two doors anymore.
But it's essential to Honda.
Nobody buys two doors anymore, Robbie. Everyone buys four door.
Have you been to Grid Life? That's all they buy are Honda Civic Coupes.
Even some of the Type R's are fucking four doors.
Lame. Four-door sports cars are lame.
No more manuals. No more manuals in the Civic lineup anymore either.
What? Honda, you're getting...
It's the world we live in, man.
They are completely away from their roots.
It's the world we live in. So,
that sucks.
Two-door version, two doors gone. So you can still get an SI that's a sedan. No more manuals.
That's disappointing.
It is disappointing.
Like legitimately disappointing.
What's more disappointing, the Honda Fit.
Damn it. That means the prices are going to go sky high for all these spec fit drivers. Instead of $2,000 cars, they're going to be spending like $4,000. It's getting out of control.
I can't believe they're putting this one out.
I would assume that they're selling a fair amount of these. Don't you think? I mean, I see them semi-regularly, and they're super cheap. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Like, unbelievably cheap. Like, if I get a new job and I have to drive further to work, this is something I would look into so I wouldn't have to drive a pickup every day.
Well, I think that the last line in this little description they put in here kind of sums up all the problems. It says some of the fit will live on in the HRV, a slightly taller fit available with all-wheel drive.
Oh.
Meaning a crossover SUV.
But didn't the HRV not go over super well? Or am I thinking of a different car?
Idea.
Thinking of a different car, I think.
I don't have any idea. I don't keep up with new sales.
Not even a little bit, especially if it's not like some niche
right
thing.
The cars I care about, nobody buys anyway.
Yeah, I'm not buying them, and probably no one
like
else
the Alpha 4C. So
that right?
The Hyundai Elantra GT.
Hyundai still makes cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I thought.
Well,
yeah, I guess Genesis makes cars.
Hyundai makes the Veloster.
Doesn't matter to me.
The Veloster N, Robbie.
Doesn't matter to me.
It was Car and Driver's Performance Car of the Year last year.
No, it's not. Nope. Fake news. Not buying it. That's ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous
hatch money can buy.
That is ridiculous.
What, bro?
I guess if you want to put it in the hot hatch category and just like that's the best hot hatch, that's fine. We can have that conversation.
Oh, the Hyundai Veloster is with N. The Hyundai Veloster N is without a doubt the best hot hatchback money can buy.
But to say sports car or like to best performance, whatever.
It was the best performance car of 2019.
That's ridiculous.
Well, no, because I don't know
how many caveats do we have to have on this?
Well, so I think that it had to come out in that year.
If there's other like brand new ever,
yeah. So like the Camaro didn't come out. The new gen Camaro came out in 2018. The new gen Mustang came out in 2016 or whatever it is. So like those cars don't count.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's really how it works, but I think it might be.
That would make sense then. But the Veloster's been out, I guess the end didn't. But anyways, that's
I don't know. They had it go up against Porsches even.
Yeah, but
they picked it.
That hasn't changed since 1974. They
picked it.
Whatever.
I don't know what to tell you, right?
And no one's going to miss the Elantra.
No one's going to miss the Elantra. Could be had with as much as 201 horsepower.
Oh my god!
Calm down, guys.
Neck snapping.
And they're throwing the GT badge on that.
What's the non-GT version got? A 6,000-pound car with 100 horsepower?
I don't know, man.
Yikes.
A car that I don't see enough of.
Yep.
The Jaguar XE.
That is a good-looking sedan.
Oh, so good, dude.
It's a nice car.
You can get them as turbocharged or supercharged, and even for a short period of time, turbo diesel.
Yeah, that's what I want, is a Jaguar turbo diesel.
Well, diesels are really, really popular in Europe.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trust that to last at all. Then again, I wouldn't trust a Jaguar to last at all anyways, but it's a beautiful car. It's a beautiful car.
You'll buy a Jaguar because you want something sturdy and reliable in your life.
Right.
The XF Sport Brake also on this list, which I think is essentially just the XE as a wagon, which means it's better.
It's worse.
Dude, look at that car.
I'm looking at the car. The car is great.
It looks so good, Robbie.
The wagon is awful. The car
the wagon
is great.
Is so good.
No, the car is so good.
It's the same thing.
No, it is not. It's totally different.
You can't tell me that the XE is a great looking vehicle and then say the XF Sport Brake is terrible.
The XF Sport Brake is terrible, and the XE is a beautiful sedan.
No, they're the same thing.
They clearly have different letters. The XE has different lines and different stance, and it just looks way better. And then the XF just kind of looks like a white blob of crap.
I don't think the XE and the XF are actually the same cars.
They're not.
They are different cars. But still, they look basically the same.
Yeah, they're very similar. I will give you that. I think the XF is bigger. If I had, but
we can pour one out for this homie, the Lexus GS.
I love that car.
I know you do. My stance is significantly softened on this car. I used to absolutely despise that front end, and I've come to rather adore it.
I know. Isn't it great?
No, it's not.
It's great.
Part of it, I can't decide whether I'm more upset that I've actually decided that it's good, or I'm more upset by the fact that you are so happy that I have decided that. Like, I don't know what's worse. Am I disappointed in myself, or am I just mad that I've made you happy?
Probably more mad that you made me happy.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's better. True. It's better content when we disagree. Everyone knows that.
Well, I suppose
a good friendship is based on disagreeing. Obviously,
I don't know that I agree with that. I guess.
See, exactly.
God damn it.
Oh God. But
you got anything to say about it, Robbie?
Not really. I've always kind of liked those. What's not the GS? This is the LS, the 2-door that I really like. I can never remember the Lexus's names.
I don't have any idea, dude.
They're always like some variant of something S, and then
ES, LS, GS, IS.
Yeah, exactly. Then there were the IF. That confuses me.
ISF.
Yeah. So I don't.
GSF.
I don't know. I like Lexuses. I've always have. So it's kind of sad to see. Yeah. What's plural of Lexus?
I think it's Lexi. I'm going with Lexi because it makes me sound smart.
Well, I refuse to agree with you, so it's Lexuses.
Oh, God damn it. The Lincoln Continental.
That was a nice car.
Such a ridiculous machine. They're huge.
Yeah.
Big Luxo barges. Very cool. Never caught on, though.
No, and it's kind of a niche-y thing, and I don't think they're very cheap.
No, they're very, very expensive cars. Yeah. And I think for the money that some of the other cars that are in that category that are in that price range are probably better cars.
Right.
I know as much shade as we throw at them, it's really hard to beat the Germans in that segment.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And I don't know the exact number. We'll just say like 70,000 or whatever. We'll just say that this Continental is $70,000, and you're looking at going like, do I really want to spend $70,000 on a Lincoln? And you always answer with, no, I don't. I could go.
No, I'd rather spend 80 on the comparable Mercedes.
Yes, or even the Audi or the BMW or the Cadillac.
Right.
I mean, Lincoln falls short real fast, or the Lexus. I mean it. Yeah, once you start comparing them to other cars in that category and quality, I mean, I'm not saying it's anything wrong with the Continental, but like once you start comparing it to other cars, it falls short, and then I can kind of see why it's dying.
Yep. The Lincoln MKZ.
It's kind of ugly. And
that one's not so good. My mom has the generation before this, and it is her second MKZ. It's been a good car to her.
I always kind of liked another car named LS, the Lincoln LS. I always thought that was a fairly decent looking car, and you could get them actually the price fell off a cliff, but I remember when they first came out, I thought they were kind of nice. So, better looking than this car. So I can see why this one's going away.
Yeah. The Mercedes-Benz SLC. That's SLC class, I guess is how it is.
I thought that was a popular car.
It's their C-Class Roadster.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
You see these semi-regularly.
Yeah, I suppose. You drive around West Des Moines, you'll see these.
Yeah, definitely.
50 grand or more, which kept sales slow. Mercedes, finally in the midst of a moderate consolidation of its nameplates, seeks to streamline its lineup to focus more on what it sells than what it doesn't.
I can't disagree with that logic. They definitely needed to dial back.
Oh God, did they ever? I think
of
all the manufacturers, they're the worst.
Yes, I mean they make some
that thing.
I mean it's a wonderful car. I look at it, I'm like, yeah, this would be a nice car, but they need to just wrap that up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So, and that one's too much.
Yep.
50 grand or more, that's too much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, again, once you start comparing it to other cars, it's a very expensive little two-seater.
So this one makes me super sad. It's also the last one on the list. The Toyota Yaris.
Dang it. Another great.
I like the Yaris. I don't like this one as much as I like the older ones, but I like the Yaris.
Because they were little and they had good gas mileage and they were cheap.
They're kind of fun. And the new hot hatch version is super cool, even though we don't get it.
Yes. Yeah, but I will always have a soft spot for like the painfully cheap cars.
I didn't realize this, but apparently it's a Mazda 2.
Oh, weird.
Toyota and Mazda have more cooperation on the way, but we don't expect to see either brand offering a subcompact in the U.S. market any longer. It's a bummer, dude.
It is, especially when the hot hatch is getting sold elsewhere, and we're not getting.
Well, I think that we're just going to replace all these little ones with off-brand EVs.
I don't want that. I want little tiny engines. They get 60 miles to the gallon.
Little 1 liters and stuff like that.
That's what I want.
Little 3-cylinder turbocharged 1 liters.
Yes, that's exactly what I want.
So cool. I don't know why that engine makes me so happy.
Just doesn't get the respect that it deserves.
So
we're in America, and if it doesn't have 8 cylinders, then nobody cares.
Well, they're about to have no cylinders.
Ugh. Then I really don't care.
So one that I saw earlier today that popped up that's not on this list because this list is a little bit old, but was announced just recently, the Fiat 124.
I don't think a lot of people are going to be surprised by that.
I'm super bummed out about it. That car, I was really hoping would sell better than it did.
Well, I think we kind of went into detail as to why it wouldn't when you start comparing it to the Miata. I mean, just buy the Miata, and then you can spec it up and make it your own and spend even less money.
But it was turboed. I mean, I think as a factory car, it held more potential to be easily modified to be more powerful. Like if you wanted to buy a car with a specific and expressed purpose of modifying it, that was the better of the two, in my opinion, because it was turbocharged.
Okay.
Because it's there's way more room to make power relatively easily on a turbocharged car than a naturally aspirated car from the factory.
True. Very true.
So even though I think they were within 10 or 20 horsepower of being the same factory, there was like easily 50 to 60 horsepower worth of potential sitting in just a simple tune on the motor that was in the Fiat. And I don't know what you could get out of a Miata, but I would imagine that you're really going to have to go deep down a rabbit hole to make 50 or 60 horsepower.
Absolutely.
A lot more work than a $300 to $500 tune.
Definitely. But
so
I'm curious what Fiat's
they just never took off.
No. Yeah.
And I feel like the ND does well.
Yeah, you see them everywhere.
Yeah, I think that they're doing pretty well for themselves, which I'm glad, that's something I want to sell well. But I also really wanted the Fiat to do better than it seems to have done.
Would you be able to run a Fiat in a spec Miata class?
I don't think that there's currently.
Well, I mean, once you have the NDs, would that be included?
I don't think that would be allowed. No.
That's disappointing. I want to see a spec Fiat.
It's really hard to run naturally aspirated and turbocharged cars in the same classes.
Yeah, definitely.
And get them
on the same level.
Get them, especially when they're such similar cars.
True.
So, I mean, Adam Jabay's trying.
I know he is.
But nobody seems to really show up with boosted cars in GLTC that much. You get a few here and there, but for the most part, nobody's bothered.
Yeah.
So
guess we'll see what the new rules do.
Yep. They're a little confusing.
Oh, they're not.
There's some changes they've made that are a little bit weird.
The flat curve rule is what I think people are just...
Everyone's fighting that right now.
I think people
needs to be better
clarified. It just needs to be clarified.
Yep. Just some rewording of the rule itself.
Everybody that reads it understands the intent, and then everyone that comments on it goes, well, it doesn't really meet the intent that I want it to, and then here's how I'm going to interpret it. So then there's 600 fucking messages on the comment thread of people going, well, the way I read it, well, the way I read it, well, the way you read it, and then it's just like, what it fucking meant.
What that means is the way I want it to be is this.
Yep.
The way that it most effectively helps me.
Yep. No, I understand Adam's pain because we want every race series or anyone that's doing anything understands the pain of everyone knows the intent, but that's not the exact words we used. So now we have to freaking argue about it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. These news about cars dying was brought to you by Factory Fabrication. FactoryFabrication.com for all of your fabrication needs, whether it's a roll bar, a stairwell, a furniture. They got it. Or if you need a reinforced clutch fork for your Porsche 944, they get you hooked up. Got that knocked out the other day. Got this. Did I talk about it on the show? I brought the Z there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I brought the Z there to get the cage dropped off or put in, and then because it's such a fat pig, it requires 1 3/4 inch, and his dies didn't go up to 1 3/4 inch, so we had to order new ones, which was a 4-week lead time. So then I had to bring the Z back home, and then I've been working on the Z ever since, getting it just further along. But that die should be in, well, now it's Christmas, so it probably won't be in this week, but hopefully next week, and then I can bring it back.
Porsche's done there, though, right?
What's that? No, we got a couple.
The cage on the Porsche is ready to go?
The cage is ready. There's a few things that we want to do fabrication-wise that Booney's going to help us with, which would be a little bit kind of almost more like body shop type stuff. So that's a little bit out of what he normally does, but he's doing us a solid and helping us with a lot of that. So there's really not a lot of stuff outside of their wheelhouse. I mean, if you have a weird idea that's metal or wood based and just say, hey, I kind of want to do this, they'll make it happen. So I appreciate that.
Nice.
FactoryFabrication.com. So I think if you have read the description, I think you can assume that we're doing predictions.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of have to every year. This has been kind of an ongoing thing for us. One of the more consistent traditions we've done. So why fuck with it?
Yeah, exactly. So let's do, because it was 2020, obviously we predicted everything 100% accurately because everyone predicted 2020 100% accurately.
I didn't get a single one of these.
I did okay.
I'm not claiming victory for any of them.
I will claim.
I also
I think I'll claim one.
I also think that a little bit of this may have been destroyed by the virus and so my first one, more people making the jump from pro racing from sim racing. I feel like our pro racing, season this year was fucking thrown out the window. Like nobody got to do it at all, and so
that was not.
I mean, I could almost move that to 2021 with the hopes that maybe things are going to level out a little bit, and maybe we'll have a better year, but. Last year just didn't go like anybody thought it would.
No.
So, I don't know. Maybe I could claim death carts as not being a thing because I don't think I saw anybody really posting about the dumb things this year.
No, I think I would give you that. I think that if over the last few years, it seemed like everyone was making death carts or just ripping the bodies off and just doing a caged car and just leaving it totally just a cage. And I definitely didn't see that much this year, so I'll give you. I mean, like that the Cletus guy, he still has his, but that one's been that way for years, and it's just kind of continually developed.
the Leroy or whatever they call it. So
no idea.
I mean, fine, whatever. But yeah, there wasn't like, you know, bunches of them showing up at Grid Life events and other track day events, you know, that I really saw at least. So
no, so I'll give you. I guess I wouldn't say they're not a thing, but they're definitely seem to take a step backwards.
Yeah. And then state and federal regulations for EV cars for road taxing. As soon as I talked about that, I had a whole bunch of people tell me that there were a bunch of states that either had it in the works or had already adopted it. And I never really saw that very many more did. And I certainly didn't see anything talked about on a federal level, which I don't think we have any like road taxing on a federal level. Well, that's not true. There's a state and a federal gas tax, so that's not true. But yeah,
I have no idea.
Again, we spent all of this year fighting about stuff that didn't matter nearly as much as some of the things we should have been fighting about and didn't. And so that's probably kind of falls in that category.
Yep. So I have my first one was that there was going to be an influx of companies creating new old stock parts using like 3D printers. And I definitely wouldn't say there was an influx of companies, but I do think there's still more people doing it this year that there were in the past. So I'll give myself a half on that one. Because I know even just locally, there's a few people that have like either like online stores where they're 3D printing things. Then I know there's some other companies that are basically you send them what you need, and they'll build you like a recreation of what you need. I mean, they're kind of one-off deals, and I'm sure they're very expensive, but they'll 3D print you whatever you need. So I think it's probably becoming more common, even though not necessarily the way I described it.
There's a guy here in Des Moines that 3D prints cup holders for 240s, Robbie.
I know. I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah, I figured.
I think he listens to the show, actually. Or did at one point.
So.
Yeah. I said that more companies will team up on EVs, and I think I got that one right.
I'll give you this one.
Because Toyota and Volkswagen announced that their truck groups are teaming up to do electrical vehicles together, and then GM and Honda are also teaming up to do EV stuff. So I think that I was right on the money on that one. Yeah, not much else to say. I just think I got that one right. I also predicted, and this one made me sad, that more automotive magazines would die in 2020. That you'd see like anything that does print would just definitely take a step back. And we talked at length about that if they wanted to stick around, they would probably have to get away from print magazine and then to do more like a online, like a news type website. And I think 2020 kind of forced a lot of companies' hands on how to adapt to, like working remotely or digitally in general. And I think that there definitely wasn't a huge loss of automotive magazines that I'm aware of. Like a lot of the companies that I follow at all are still in business, even if they've adjusted their practices a little bit. So I'll give myself a false on this one because I don't think a lot of the companies I expected to die for when it comes to automotive magazine and journalism. I think they just adjusted and they seem to be doing as well as could be expected.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I guess I'm happy to be wrong on that one.
Yeah, I'm not mad about you being wrong there.
And I think there's a few magazines that I'm sure existed that I wasn't aware of in the past, but I'm aware of now. So I feel like I've actually learned about new automotive magazines in the last year. And then the Low Volume Manufacturers Act that was introduced in 2015, and then at the end of last year, the NHTSA released a 118-page document outlining the the regulations, and it was basically being sent out to get reviewed by the public and then seeing what the reaction was. And that came out almost exactly a year ago. And my prediction was that was going to get that NHTSA document was going to get finalized, and then that Low Volume Manufacturers Act of 2015 would get finally implemented as intended in 2020. No, nothing. That document that came out last year never got updated, never got released, never had nothing. Like it went to the public, and now what was supposed to be done in like 2016, 2017 is still dead in the water. It might be buried in the 5,000 pages of the stimulus bill, but we don't know. It's done nothing in almost 6 years, which is really sad. Which I just doesn't make any sense to me why it would take this long to get that finalized.
Because it's not important to people,
I guess. And no one's lobbying for it in a huge financial way.
Right. Nobody cares.
I care.
So.
Yep. So no low volume manufacturers. Just whatever. Anyways, so what do you got going on this year?
That brings us to 2021 predictions. So, I've really struggled with it. I always kind of struggle with this.
I always sit around and have it in the back of my mind for like 2 days in advance. Like, because even yesterday I'm at work going, okay, I need to start making notes. Like any idea is a good idea type thing. Like just write it down. You could always cross it off. Just if you have a thought, write it down. Right. So I went through the whole day and had one prediction. And I looked at it going, this is a stupid prediction. And then today at home, my first day of Christmas break, I was like, okay, I'm writing down a bunch of predictions. And I got to like 5. And I think they're okay. But they're nothing outlandish, nothing bold. I feel like there's a lot of softballs in there. But
sometimes you got to do that.
But yeah, it took me... we talked about the other day, and I bet it took me 2 full days to come up with anything that I felt was okay. So yeah, I don't know. 2020 has just ruined me, I guess. I can't predict nothing.
Yeah. So, should we just go back and forth?
I'm good with that. I got pictures for mine.
You do one, I'll do one.
Yeah.
Kind of back and forth a little bit.
I'm good with that.
You want to start or should I?
I can start.
All right.
So let me open this. Trying to do 10 things at once. My first prediction is that McLaren F1 will finish second in the Constructors' Championship in 2021.
Oh, shit, Robbie.
Which means that
I feel like this is wishful thinking because you're a McLaren fan.
I am a huge McLaren fan, and it continues to grow the more I watch Formula One. But I've always liked McLaren, both as a car manufacturer and as a racing team. And obviously, I'm a big fan of Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. So just the whole.
Are they sticking with both of them for 2021?
No, because Carlos went to Ferrari, and then Daniel Ricciardo went from Renault to McLaren. So now it's Daniel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it's Daniel Ricciardo and Lando, and I think that's a really good pairing. So I think Daniel makes the team better. Well, not to say that they weren't great before, but I think that they're heading in the right direction, and they're going to be running Mercedes engines.
Those are like 2 of the coolest dudes.
Like super down to earth. At least
like
they seem
drivers. They seem like fun-loving like dudes I'd want to hang out with.
Yeah, they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, they don't seem like assholes.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think I want to hang out with Lewis Hamilton or
Max
Sebastian Vettel
or, Nope, I don't want to hang out with them. But I would want to hang out with Lando and Daniel.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
Yep. So, which means that either Mercedes or Red Bull is not getting second. McLaren is.
Let's be real here. Red Bull, because Mercedes is still going to be in first.
Yeah, probably. Let's be real. So yeah, my prediction is that McLaren is going to consistently do well. They will get second. But I don't predict anyone unseating McLaren.
All right, Robbie, Mercedes. I'm basing my 2021 Fantasy GP team on your predictions, so don't let me down.
I won't.
So,
everyone. I'm sure it's just gonna be a slew of Formula One fans going, "You're an idiot."
I think no matter what you say, there's a slew of fans that say you're an idiot about it when it comes to Formula One. It seems like it's such a divided group of people.
Yeah, everyone has their favorites for sure.
Yeah, and they're super dedicated,
very
to it, which I think is kind of that way in any like big, because NASCAR's the same way.
Yeah, because I made years ago I made comments about how I wasn't a fan of Fernando Alonso, and I'm still not a fan of Fernando Alonso. And I think that he's overrated, but people will be very mad that I just said that.
I still remember that being one of our first times interacting with Austin Covey, because you said that and he posted on our Facebook page at the time, because we didn't even have the group, about how wrong you were and how dumb you were about that, because Alonso is the second coming of driving Christ and the whole 9 yards, man. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember it too. I still stand behind it. Like, maybe my points weren't exactly right because I wasn't fully educated on the Formula One in general, but I still stand behind that. I think he's overrated, but that's fine.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's an opinion.
So, my first one, I don't know if it will be in production by the end of 2021, but I think it will at least be announced. The first 1,000+ horsepower mass production car. Meaning, so I know there have been cars out there that have been that and well above, but they've been severely limited in the numbers of cars they're going to produce.
Yeah, you're talking
my personal opinion is that it's going to be the Z06. I'm going to say combined horsepower, meaning I don't think that we're going to get there without the assistance of some electricity. But I wouldn't be that shocked if it's the Z06, and I think whether it's them or somebody else, there will be a 1,000+ horsepower car that a large major auto manufacturer will sell as many as they can. Will build as many as they can sell. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it won't be like
it's not like this is 100. Limited to 10, 20, 100, 500, whatever the number is. This will be, if we can sell 50,000 of them, we'll build 50,000 of them. So I think it's going to be the Z06 Corvette.
I can see Dodge doing it.
Maybe Dodge. But I feel like, because like the Demon, I know it wasn't 1,000 horsepower, but that was a limited edition, a limited run car.
Right.
I don't know that Dodge is going to do it in any of the cars they currently have, but I don't know, maybe.
That, and I think Dodge is so far behind on EVs, they'd have to use someone else's technology.
Yeah. I think that's what we're going to use to push us over the edge.
Yeah. I'd be shocked to see a petrol car, 1,000 horsepower production vehicle.
Right. Mass production.
Right. Mass production.
Like with a real warranty behind it and stuff, like not a car that's going to spend most of its life parked quietly in a garage somewhere.
No, we're talking Corvettes type stuff.
Right. Personally, I think it's a Corvette because I don't really know what else it could be, and I know that that's been kind of teased and talked about, and no one really knows. But yeah, I think. Like I said, I don't know that it'll be in production by the end of 2021, but it will be announced officially, and we'll know it's coming.
Okay. That's interesting. And I think that I would, maybe not next year, but yeah, I think you're onto something, though.
We'll definitely get there someday.
We talked about it when Dodge was starting to put out, $60,000, 700 horsepower cars. It's like, at what point do we kind of go, maybe enough is enough here?
Yeah, maybe we should let's pump the brakes a little bit. But no, apparently we've decided we're not pumping the brakes. We're going the other plow head on into this. We're going to keep pushing. Everything's got to be bigger, Robbie.
Bigger, better, faster. Trucks,
cars, engines, everything. It's got to be bigger, 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 bigger.
As someone that just bought a very large pickup, trucks are too big. They're so big.
We'll talk about that in an upcoming opener.
That's fair. All right, my next one. Again, I feel like these are all softballs. Not the first one, but this one. My prediction is that Ozarks International Raceway will open in 2021, have their first track events, and be immediately considered one of the top tracks in the country. Day one.
I can't decide what I think about this place. So anybody who hasn't seen this facility, look it up on Instagram or Facebook. Ozark International Raceway. I think that they're going to really, really struggle to make that a safe track without clearing out a lot more than what they appear to have cleared out already.
I won't disagree with that.
And I think that there's a bunch of people who are going to be very hesitant to show up at that track until they get that stuff sorted out.
I think the hype, again, I mean, kind of in like niche groups because these are people
that's a hype train like no other when it comes to a new track.
Yes. And like the configurations look really cool. The elevation.
Oh, it's a wild track. The elevation changes, insanity.
Because, like, I mean, that's literally 25 minutes from Jess's parents' lake house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that area not well, but like I know the area, and I know like
you've been there.
I've driven past kind of this area.
Right.
So, I mean, the elevation is going to be super cool. The area is going to be great. I mean, there's a lot of people in the Ozarks with a lot of money, so it's kind of a great place to put it. And if the track is half as good as it looks on paper and in the pictures of as it's being built, I'm all in on the hype train. I couldn't be more in.
Yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic.
I want to be fully optimistic. I want this to be the best track.
I'm glad that you do.
And I'm predicting that it's going to be the best track. And I couldn't have been more happy to find out that Grid Life, as well as myself, have already reached out saying, hey, let's do events here.
Let's do some stuff.
Yep. I don't think they'll do
because it's inside of the Midwest Division,
Kansas City
borders.
It's Kansas City region.
Well, yeah, but the mid div borders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's inside of that area. So
yep. I don't.
Your little TT group could certainly go and run there without too much trouble.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing anything like SCCA sanctioned like club racing type stuff next year. I think what they're gonna do, again, like getting approved by the SCCA and getting all the like club racing.
It's really hard to get a track like sanctioned. Yep, you guys can race there now.
Yeah, so I think
from the SCCA, it's from like I think it's largely from like an insurance standard. I think.
Yeah, so I think realistically next year they'll have the track done in 2021, but they'll have to get it SCCA approved because even like Gateway took forever to get and it might not even be approved yet, but like that reverse configuration that they built that FD runs on,
right?
I still don't know if that's SCCA approved.
Right,
it's been that way for a year.
Yeah, I think it's this very slow process. Is anything that the insurance companies get involved in?
Yeah, so I would bet that next year they'll do like track days, maybe a TT, and then that's what I mean by events. I don't necessarily mean club racing because I don't think that'll happen next year. That'll be 2022 at best. But I think you could get away with the insurance behind a track day and a time attack, even if it's not SCCA approved, sanctioned rather. So I'm all in on the hype train. I couldn't be more excited about this track.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have engineering jobs in the Ozarks and if I can buy a house there. Jess would be all.
I think if you stay away from I think you should stay far enough away from the lake itself. I don't think it's too bad.
No, it's really not bad. Actually, it's like really wonderful multi-million-dollar homes on the lake, and then you go like 10 miles this way. It's like trash city.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there's a huge in the Ozarks. There's a huge difference between the haves and the have-nots. It's dramatic.
Yeah.
But anyways, Ozarks International Raceway, I'm all in.
Fair enough. So my next one, I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so my guess is that the electric vehicle market share will top 10%.
What's it at now?
Of all cars sold. So that's where I'm not sure about. I did some Googling. I did the best I could find. The most recent thing I could find that came from what seemed like a semi-reputable source that did their research said 4.9%. But what I can't decide is if that is full EVs or EVs and plug-in hybrids? I think that it's both.
My guess would have been like in the 2 to 3% range.
So what this says here, and this I think might also have just been for September of 2020.
Oh. So 10% is a huge number because, like, just
September 20. This is globally. September 2020 was a spectacular month for passenger plug-in electric car sales globally. The volume reached an all-time high of 345,000. That is an equivalent of 4.9% of the total car market, meaning that 1 in 20 new vehicles sold is already rechargeable. All electric cars are responsible for 68% of that volume, about 241,000, while plug-in hybrids for the remaining 32%, about 104, noting a growth rate of 120% year over year.
That growth rate sounds about right, based on like my uneducated observations.
Ooh, you know what? Maybe my 10% is too high.
I'd say if you count hybrids, yes.
I'm gonna switch that to 5%. Oh, gosh.
I mean, if you put it into perspective.
Okay, so then the next paragraph here, it says, after 9 months of this year, the total volume is 1.784 million, which means the average market share is 3.4%.
Okay.
2.3% of that 3.4% is BEVs, which is battery electric vehicles.
Okay.
Meaning fully electric cars.
Right.
So only 1% of that is plug-in hybrids.
So you want to adjust your number from 10%?
I'm going to go with 7 because 5 seems way too low, realistic, or easily achieved. 3.4% is where they're at right now as of September of 2020. Let's say from now until September of 2021, I'm going to call it 7%.
Okay. I think that's a high number because to put it into perspective, if you take the number of Rams sold and the number of Silverados sold, that's more than the electric vehicles.
Right.
So I mean, that's a huge amount of vehicles.
From September 2019 to September 2020, those 2 months, September 2020 was 91% higher than September of 2019.
Wow.
So that market share is growing really, really fast. And I mean, every other news article is such and such announced this car, such and such announced this car. Hyundai claims that they're going to have 23 global fully electric vehicles by 2025. Jeez. 23.
What are they, Mercedes? We don't need that many different ones.
I don't think they even make 23 cars right now.
I would never say that they did.
So,
I would have guessed no way.
You know, I think that number I think is going to be almost exponentially fast in growth year over year.
I don't think it'll stay exponentially. I think it'll plateau, but eventually. Yeah.
But I saw a study today that said that with the rapid rate in improvement of battery technology, that the production cost of EV cars is at or very near the same price as internal combustion engine cars. So they're very close to the point where they're not any more expensive to manufacture, which means the pricing can come down too. And then they can be more readily available to the common folk.
Didn't some company just come out, I don't know if it was a patent or a proof of concept, or I think it was Toyota was saying that they were messing around with solid state batteries.
I don't know. That's a game changer, man.
I can't remember where I read that or like in what context it was. I don't know if it was a patent or if it was like a business plan or whatever. I just remember seeing it recently saying that they were venturing into solid state batteries with the intent of that being a game changer. And I think once you do get to that, and then your charge rates can go, your recharge rates can go way faster, and like just be better in general. Because I think the way we're limited with like recharges and like getting lithium, like all that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that I can see why it'll slow down in some ways at a certain point. Not necessarily the next year for sure, but yeah, there's definitely limitations that need to be addressed. But I'll give you 7%.
7%. That's where I'm at. I don't think 10's going to be achievable, but 5 seems too easily low. And I don't want to be. I don't want to be that guy who's making predictions just because I know I can be right about it.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Quick side note, because I find this hilarious. Somebody, when was this posted? Was this posted so this was posted Monday.
Okay.
Somebody bought a crashed Model S and is putting an LS in it. And so I'm on this InsideEVs.com. Right. And these people seem to have swallowed the Tesla pill harder than anybody on the planet. My dog is scratching at my door. So if you can hear that, I apologize.
Yeah, it's fine.
But to say that they're butthurt about this is not even close to being accurate enough. Oh my God.
That's hilarious. That makes it all worth it. I got a coworker that's dead set on buying a Model S, and because they do like test drive events because they don't have a dealership, so they'll have like, I don't know if they have them in the parking lot or whatever. Then they'll call everybody that's on the list, like, hey, come down and test drive these things. And he goes, no joke, man. Next time we do it, I'll make sure you come with me. I was like, I really don't care, but like I'll go with you just to humor you. Then I can make fun of how much I can tell you how much I hate about the interior design about it.
Well, dude, this is wild. So the top selling models in September, Tesla Model 3 sold 43,000 units.
Okay.
And then the next best selling was some Chinese EV that sold 14,500.
That's a huge jump.
The Tesla Model Y sold 12. Then the Renault Zoe, the Volkswagen ID3, and then rounding out that, the Hyundai Kona Electric at 8,000.
It's funny how many are out there that I don't even realize exist.
So according to this, Tesla Model 3 sales year to date at this one, the Model 3 238,170, just 13% of all EVs.
Wow.
And then the next closest one on this list is the Renault Zoe at 4% of the market, the EV market.
Jeez.
So Tesla's kicking ass when it comes to sales.
Oh, for sure. They have like a really...
I mean, they're straight killing it.
Yeah, there's like a weird following for Tesla.
Oh, dude.
It's almost religious.
It's almost religious. It's wild.
I don't know. I don't get it. But I guess I'm not the way about anything. I like my Nissans, but I'm not religious about it.
You own other things too. I mean, you put an LS in it.
Yeah, I don't care.
In one.
I like lots of things. I'm not going to tell you they're the best cars in the world or that their leader's the best because I have no idea who their leader is. But anyways.
Yeah. What else you got?
I got... Oh, you'll like this one. I predict in 2021. God, wait. I'm not happy. I'm not quick enough to get out of this year, apparently.
Yeah, right.
2021. I predict that Grid Life Touring Cup will need to redo how they do GLTC on event weekends because their fields are going to be too big.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to have to start doing heats.
And I don't know if Adam is ready, or I'm assuming he is planning way ahead, but I don't know if he expects it to be as immediate as next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the festivals that'll be that way for sure. And some of like the big tracks, the bucket list tracks, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
for sure. But maybe not all of them, but certainly most of them.
No, it just seems that like you got
There's so many people that are like, I'm building this car for GLTC. I'm building that car for GLTC. I'm building this. Oh, my friends are building. I have 3 friends building cars for this right now.
Yeah, so I was convinced that like it's just because I was in that GLTC group. I'm like, oh, I'm just seeing this more than anyone else just because I'm in that group. But it just seems like you have the GLTC regulars that have already been there a year or two, and then you have a bunch of guys that are making the jump from Time Attack that are already a part of Grid Life, and the Austin Hurdles and like those guys.
Well, but the nickname for GLTC is Time Attack Retirement Community.
I can't disagree with that. And then you got guys like me that want to make that jump.
Exceedingly upset with how true it is.
Yep. Yeah. I think that between that group, the group of guys that have never done it, that are building cars for it, like me, and then there's a bunch of people that are going to that have never done Grid Life at all that are making that jump, that are planning to come over too. I think there's going to be this crazy influx of cars that it's going to have to be restructured on how they do events. Otherwise, they're just going to sell out, and then be like, sorry guys, if you want to show up, you're going to have to do Time Attack.
Yeah,
but I was also
I think they could go to like an A main, B main.
That'd be super cool.
Like, circle track sort of way.
I think that'd be cool. I'd enjoy that.
So I think that's what they'll have to do.
Oh shoot, where was I going to go? I had one thing I was going to say. Not important. But anyways, yeah. So that's my prediction for GLTC.
See, my last one, which was kind of half baked, and I didn't even really want to do it too much, but I'll say it anyway because it kind of plays off of that. I think that's going to be a problem, assuming that we can figure out how to get all this bullshit under control in 2021. That maybe this vaccine works as well as we want it to, and things kind of clear up a little ways, and stuff calms down, and we can kind of open up a little bit. I think that everyone's going to have that problem.
Oh, yeah.
Like I really, mid-div TT and Grid Life Time Attack and Grid Life's GLTC and WRL and Champ Car and even your local autocrosses are just going to be, they're going to see record numbers of people flocking in because we've all spent all this time just sitting and waiting and praying that we can get back out there. And when we get the chance to, we're going to kind of essentially explode forward and go for it. And I think that's going to be that way for everybody, that everyone is going to like, you're going to struggle to find track time because it's going to be so many people jumping in on it.
Yes, 100%. I expect everyone to have a bang up year in 2021, assuming that everything is open.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got one other one that I've really debated on saying, but I think I'm going to say it anyway.
Do it. Be controversial.
You got one more, or
I have two. I have two.
Okay. Well, you give me one more, then I'll give my last one. You give your last one. We'll move on.
Sounds good. All right. So my second to last one. Oh, my prediction is that the first Codemasters Electronic Arts collaboration game is going to flop so fucking hard. So hard. Because Codemasters...
That's funny.
Because Codemasters is the company that does the Formula One game, and they did Grid, Autosport, and Dirt. So, I mean, they're good games. They're not great. Okay. They're not great sims. They're not... People don't go out of their way like they do for Forza or Gran Turismo or even iRacing or even Assetto Corsa.
Probably the best rally sim that you can get.
Definitely the best rally sim. But, like...
That's not
the hardest
high water mark.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of competition. But there's not. I'm not saying they're shitty games because they're not. And then Electronic Arts is obviously known for Need for Speed, which is an arcade racing game. But in recent years, Electronic Arts has kind of gone to that like pay to win type situation, where it's like microtransactions, and Codemasters was never that way. So I'm betting.
Fuck you, EA.
Said it. So I'm thinking, I'm expecting the next generation of all the Codemaster racing games to have a bunch of microtransactions in it. So if you want to buy, you can buy the game for $60, but if you want to get the Nissan Datsun package, that's another $10. And if you want the Corvette package, that's another DLC packet, whatever. And it's like all of a sudden you're $600 in, and I don't. It's always gone better than I expected to. It just seems that people buy into it, but I don't think this is going to be good for the Codemaster games, having Electronic Arts having the corporate say over it.
So they bought them, right?
Yeah, for like $1 billion.
EA bought Codemasters.
Yes.
I feel like we should note that.
Yeah.
For those that don't know.
Yeah, they bought Codemasters for like over $1 billion or something crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy money. I don't know where all these, because like Bethesda, which is the people that make the only game I know how to play anymore, Skyrim, they got bought by somebody too. Essentially, Microsoft.
I guess the amount of money spent
for like $2 billion.
Yeah, the amount of money spent on video games always kind of blew me away. Because like when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, the amount of money that they made in a day on their first days of sales was just staggering. Like,
yeah, the game's almost 10 years old, and they're still putting out stuff for that game.
Yeah, the support for Grand Theft Auto 5 is unbelievable.
The online stuff they've built for that game is insane.
Yes. And still new shit all the time.
They released something like today, I think.
Well, and then for a game that's that old, it's aged really well. So like a lot of the stuff that comes out even this year, you look back and they're comparing it to Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto 5, going like the graphics and the physics and the
Cyberpunk 2077. I've seen a bunch of like why Grand Theft Auto is still better than this.
Yeah, they came out forever ago.
And that was like the most anticipated game of 2020.
And they spent $330 million developing it.
And
then it flopped so bad
right now.
You can get a free refund, no questions asked.
If you're on a console, like you're probably not going to be able to play that game right now.
Yep, that's crazy. That's Electronic Arts management making decisions that are not good.
Well, that was CD Projekt Red.
That wasn't Electronic Arts.
That's CD Projekt Red, same people that made Witcher.
Oh, I have no idea. I thought that
which is one of my favorite games from the last couple of years.
I still have not played that.
That isn't Skyrim.
I've not played that. I like Far Cry.
You should.
I always like the Far Cry games.
Far Cry's are all right.
I like those.
Not very good with the shoot 'em up games, but that one was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I still think again, it's one of those things. Like Far Cry 3 was the best, and then the other ones are all kind of like, not quite as good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Codemasters, EA, I don't love it.
Yeah. So my last one, I've been fighting with myself about this all day, trying to figure out how best to word this to prevent this from turning into a politics fight.
I won't fight with you, I promise.
I know you won't. I'm not worried about you.
I'm not a fighter on politics. I'll say what I have to say.
I'm not worried about you. I think I can say this with mostly stating facts that people can't really argue with me too much about.
It's the internet? Yeah, they can.
Yeah, that's fair.
Facts? Get that shit out of here.
Now that there is a Democrat in the White House, because that is a fact.
That is a fact.
I can say that without anybody arguing with me factually.
There will be in 2021. How about
right. That? I think that I don't think it will pass, but I do think it will be introduced, and I do think that it will almost pass federal legislation that is nearly the same as California's current emission standards.
I bet it doesn't go that far. But I would expect. No, I do expect something.
I think it will be introduced. I think we will all collectively panic. I don't think it will be successful, but I do think that they're going to try.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see a stricter, or because, what was it? How'd that go? It was basically like the average of all your vehicles had to have, X number of miles per gallon, and then that got rolled back. Obviously, in the last administration, I would not be surprised to see that get rolled back to where it was.
Yeah, I think
at the very least.
I think it's, without being too.
No, we don't have to get into the politics of it
without being too political about it or too doomsday about it. I think that it could become more difficult to be a car guy the way that we currently are.
I think if you're in the Midwest, I think you're probably a little safer because, like Minnesota and Iowa are pretty lax on inspections.
Yeah.
Like we don't do any inspections.
I do think that as long as you have a strictly track only car that's not registered, you're not street driving it, I don't think that's going to change anything for you.
No.
But if you have a car that you kind of dual duty, that's maybe a little outside of what might even be considered legal these days, I think that's going to become very difficult.
Yeah.
Cars like my Omni, or even the 240.
Yeah, we'll count that.
Being street driven, I think are going to become very, very difficult to do the way we're currently doing it.
Yeah, maybe not the next year, but I definitely agree that that's the future. That it'll be harder to dual purpose like that without leaving it mostly street focused.
Yeah,
which is why I think the future is racetrack country clubs. I think that's the future. I think that's my retirement plan, is that I should buy into a track that has a condo set up, like a golf course would. Yeah, or build your house on the side of the track. And you have a membership, like a monthly membership fee, and you can drive on the track on certain days. I think that's the future of the way to keep tracks alive. Because if NCM was a country club setup, that every house around the track was part of the country club, I don't think you would have to worry about noise restrictions or any of that bullshit that they do have to deal with just because the city grew around them and then people complained. So I think
it has to be built out that way, though. It can't be.
No, it has to start
turned into that. It can't be turned into that post.
No, it has to be
unless
designed
everybody buys those houses.
Yeah, or it needs to be built in the middle of nowhere, anticipating, city growth. So let's use Des Moines as an example. So if someone wanted to do it in Des Moines, they'd have to buy it in the Indianola area, Greenwood Roadway was in the 60s. You buy that area,
right,
and then you build the country club there, and then when the city gets somewhere close to it, it's too late. This is already in place.
There's a couple of housing developments around the Ames area that have something similar to that for horses. They have a community barn.
Yep.
And then they have horse trails that kind of wind through all the area of their housing development. And I know that they crowd fund, some of your HOA fees go towards purchasing of feed.
Yep.
So they can bulk purchase it. And they have a vet, and that his fees come out of your HOA fees, and you kind of crowd purchase this stuff. And I really don't see why we couldn't do that with cars. Now, I don't know if we could do it on a full size racetrack scale, but maybe something a little bit bigger, but more similar in size to, say, the old Marshalltown go-kart track.
Yeah, if you wanted to keep it private, if you kept it semi-private.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah,
that's what I mean.
No,
if you're keeping it private.
Oh, my assumption is that it wouldn't be private. You'd have HOA days. It's Monday and Tuesday. Anybody can.
Yeah, which is the way that the country clubs that we have are set up now.
Yeah, so I think that's the way to do it. It's semi-private,
right?
But I mean, even the Polo Point area just north of me, I'm pretty sure that's how they do all the landscaping and stuff for their polo field. I assume that comes out of the HOA. I'm not part of it, so I make a lot of assumptions, but I think that's how they do it.
I'm sure it is.
So that's my 10-year prediction, I guess.
Yeah. All right, what's your last one then?
My last one, and this will make some people very happy and some people very angry. I predict...
I'm mad already.
I appreciate it. I predict that Adam LZ will win at least one round of the Formula Drift Championship.
Oh, shit, son.
I think he impressed a lot of people, not necessarily his fans because they already thought the world of him, but anyone that was like a Formula Drift, just a fan that's just watching.
A fair weather fan like we are.
Or like even just a Formula Drift fan in general, not necessarily an Adam LZ fan. I think I was very impressed with how he performed in his first year. I think he absolutely deserved Rookie of the Year. For a guy that went really quickly into Pro 2 and upset a lot of people, did very well there, and then made the jump to Pro 1, and I think it for sure impressed me. So we'll just talk about my feelings. So I was impressed with how he performed in his first year, and I think that that's going to parlay into more sponsorship and more backing to give him a car that's even more competitive. I think that his talent's there. I really do think so.
Yeah.
So I think that he'll at least win one weekend or one event at Formula.
I'll say this about him. 2 years ago at Midwest, he was, I just assumed that I didn't like him.
Same here.
We don't have the best history with BMX guys. As
rollerbladers, the BMX guys hated us at the skate park.
Yeah,
and it just
take that how you will.
Yeah, it always seemed to be that way.
Maybe that's wrong of me to stereotype him as such, but I just kind of assumed he was kind of a douchebag, and the way that he acted, like going through paddock and getting like just the general way he carried himself in his car at Midwest Festival, I really had a lot of I gained a lot of respect for him that weekend 2 years ago now.
Absolutely the same. 100% the same thing. His track etiquette was some of them. Like, I was so impressed with him. The way because he's waiting to roll in to do the drift session, and Adam Jabay is basically telling people where to go as the director, and he's politely listening to what Adam Jabay has to say and complying to whatever the race director is asking of him.
It's weird, but that doesn't always happen, and it seems like it doesn't always happen more often with the drift crowd than with the track crowd.
And it seems that the more Instagram, YouTube famous you are, the less
you think you can get away with.
The less you care about the people that are like the workers and the directors and just it just seems like you have this ego that you think that you're above all this. I definitely didn't get that when he was behind the wheel of his car. Never felt that way about him. I thought he was. Yeah. I was very impressed. And then I totally understood why he got out of his car, went to his trailer, and then they basically just was quietly by himself the whole time because there was a line of people outside of his trailer the whole weekend. So I don't blame the guy for just going, you know what? I need to just be alone for a minute and just duck out. Because I didn't take it as him being like, I'm above these people. Because it sure didn't feel that way. It felt like he did his autograph sessions and stuff, and then it was just like, I don't want to be around a million people right now. So I don't know. I walked into it going, it's a YouTube BMX guy. I can't stand the guy. I never watched the video. I just had that pre-notion of I don't like this guy. And then seeing him in person, watching him in the last couple of years, I was like, okay, I can see why people like this guy. I really do.
Yeah, so, I agree.
So I think he'll do really well next year.
Cool.
That is all I have.
Go ahead.
I said that's all I have for predictions.
Let's do some news.
Okay. As always, our news. There was one more thing you wanted to talk about.
There is?
My sim.
Should we say that for later?
Sure. Got nothing but time.
We'll do that later. We'll do that on a different show.
That's fine. All right. As always, our news is presented by Apex Pro, apextrackcoach.com. I was actually just texting Andrew before the show because I was working on my Z, and I will readily admit that I screwed up the wiring when I tried to hack into my harness under the dash to basically eliminate everything I'm not using and just leave the wiring of the things that I am. But I learned the hard way that Nissan has all the wiring that goes from the ECU into the climate control box, which goes to the ABS box, which goes to like everything. So if you disconnect the connection to the climate control box, it won't be talking to the ECU, or the ECU won't be talking to the ABS module, and which won't be talking to like your gauges and stuff. So basically all that just ruined. Like my gauges don't work right. They work, but they're all like 30% higher than they're supposed to be. So like I'll be running at like idling in my garage at like 170 degrees, and it'll say I'm like overheating. But like the ECU is giving me the answer of no, it's exactly where you want it for where you're at in this as it's heating up. So I'm I don't want to spend the money to replace that harness because I don't really care about any of that stuff because it runs and it works. It just, the gauges don't work. So I was looking at using like an old phone or a tablet to do just a digital gauge. And I messaged Andrew and said, hey, you know that OBD2 data logger thing you got? How about we try that? So I was trying to like recreate it with a real dash, and I was like, wait a second, Apex Pro already has all this. So then I compare that with the Apex Pro unit, and I'm actually like really looking forward to this. So I just mentioned it before the show. I was like, hey, what are the chances we could get one of those? He goes, really good. Excellent. This is great. So looking forward to next year running the Apex Pro OBD2 module and the data logger, and then compiling all that information on my videos. So ApexTrackers.com. So you can do the OBD2 data logger or the unit, and if you want the unit, use our code 10tenths at checkout and get a free window mount.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
First up, the Ace Coupe, an EV that I think has retro styling done right.
There are a few things I would change, but yes, it is definitely...
the interior's lackluster.
Oh, I didn't even make
but
it
I really like the outside of this thing.
Definitely,
now, I'm pretty sure this is just a rendering.
No, it looks like it was taken... It looks like it's a completely built machine.
I think it's a rendering, Robbie.
No, it's real. It's like, why would they have it in just like a if they're going to render, why would they put it in the... No, it's not. It's real. Look at that shop looks real.
I want it to be real. I desperately want it to be real.
Because if you...
I think it's a rendering.
Why would they take a picture of it in this shop that has like damage to the back of the door and like the forklift in the corner? Like,
to make it feel real.
It feels real because that vehicle is real, Adam.
I hope you're right, Robbie. I really do.
Except that they took a design feature out of Tesla and just put a damn tablet in the middle of the center console. And
I don't understand why we have to do this in all of our EVs. Why are we...
It's awful.
Just give me a regular old gauge cluster in front of the steering wheel and a control stack in the middle.
I don't... or at least make it like blend into the dash. It doesn't have to look like
why is it a tablet glued to the dash
like
all the time?
It looks cheap. You want to know why I'm doing it with my cell phone on my car? Because it's basically free.
I'm not why they're doing it too, though.
That's fair. But like, and then this EV also has like straps for door handles, which is not the best. But
that's Porsche.
Is it?
Yeah, Porsche's GT, like GT3s and stuff like that. They've some of the old ones. They used to have straps for door handles. You just pull them shut.
It's very recent.
To like minimize weight.
Oh, well, I suppose it's probably not the lightest car in the world.
No, I think they're doing it because they're trying to like call on some sort of sporty imaginary heritage. But that's where that comes from.
But it's kind of like like that 80s, maybe 70s retro style. It's a little...
The outside of the car looks really... I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it's small in the right ways. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Rear-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in around the 6-second range, which is fine. 250 miles of range, which is...
It's fine.
Fine. Like, I feel like this is a good step. Like, this... It doesn't. They're not trying to make it look like some stupid space-aged insect.
Yeah, I appreciate
or anything
that.
like that. You know,
It looks like a retro car.
This is an electric car I could see myself buying.
Yes. It's unique in all the right ways.
It's not, it doesn't have some supersonic 0 to 60 speed that's going to require some insane motor and battery pack combination that pushes the price point up too far out of my reach. It's more reasonable and more down to earth and more attainable for the rest of us.
Is the price tag reasonable, obtainable? Is there a price tag?
There's not a price tag yet, but I'm assuming that based on the rest of that stuff, that's probably what they're targeting is like a more entry level, $15,000 to $25,000 car.
For how basic the interior is, I would hope so. Because if this comes out with like an $80,000 price tag, they deserve to get no sales.
Yeah, they don't sell any of them. They better not sell any of them.
No, but if it's in the $30,000 range, it makes sense. And it would be a fun little car.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
It's unique, and I like it.
We'll see. We'll see if it's just vaporware and bullshit, or if it maybe becomes something.
Well, they at least have one created one that's real,
or it's a rendering.
No, it's not. It's real.
We'll see. Up next, everybody's favorite carbon fiber manufacturer, Mansory, has teamed up with somebody. I'm not even quite sure who.
I don't know who that is.
To make a lawnmower.
So they teamed up with the guy that was the original designer of the Nike Air Jordan shoes.
Okay. Is that who that is?
I don't know if that's the guy in the picture, but
I don't think that's the guy in the picture. That guy doesn't look old enough to be the original Air Jordan designer.
No, and I think I didn't read all of the details, but I don't know why they teamed up with Mansory is weird, but so they designed.
It's very weird.
So they're for the 25th anniversary of the Air Jordans, they're teaming up with Mansory to give away this one-of-one carbon fiber lawnmower because, and this is really what bothers me the most, is that the guy that designed the first shoe was inspired by a lawnmower. And that's all they say. They just brush over
that's all they give you.
That they just brush over that fact. Like, oh, yeah.
A lawnmower. Not a specific one. Not this one that this was originally built on, because they don't even tell you that.
Nope.
Like, they just say a lawnmower.
And they just,
by the way, the guy in the video, soccer player.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Alphonso Davies.
And we're in America, so
plays,
we have no idea.
He is a Canadian professional soccer player.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Who plays for some
team
from Munich, which is in Germany, or the Canadian national team.
Great. So they're teaming up for an Air Jordan basketball shoe.
Lawnmower.
But yeah, just like, why would you? The whole point of the article is that they're designing a lawnmower because he was inspired by a lawnmower, and they couldn't just give me like 3 sentences as to why that inspired him,
or what even.
Yeah, what about it?
What lawnmower?
Like, I don't know if they just assume that everybody knows the story that the first Air Jordans were based on a lawnmower. I'm going to assume that most people don't. So maybe how about you give me a paragraph that explains to me why? Because then I just
think it's funny that they built a lawnmower that has copious amounts of carbon fiber and side exhaust
and a spoiler and a racing bucket seat
and like a carbon fiber racing. Robbie, it's got a carbon fiber e-brake, or I guess that's not an e-brake. That would be like the handle that raises and lowers the deck. It's carbon fiber, Robbie.
That's great. I like the carbon fiber. Everything about it's just awful.
Awful.
It's got white walls on the lawnmower tires.
Cool. I like white walls. I'm in on the white walls. It's got like kind of like a WS6 style hood scoop on it.
Yeah.
Sort of. I don't know, man.
The whole thing is just,
I've seen some weird things in my day.
But this one takes
But this might take the cake.
I don't. But like, okay, so let's say you win it or buy it, but like, you're just gonna add it to your collection of things? Because I bet it costs $500,000.
It's functional.
You couldn't use it.
If I won this thing, there's a 0% chance I'm not mowing my lawn with it.
I would. Yeah, you'd have to do it just because someone would lose their mind over it. It'd be worth
fucking mowing my lawn with this. Is that a bagger on the back?
Yeah, it's with a spoiler on it though.
Yeah. I'm for sure mowing my lawn with this thing.
Everything on it is carbon fiber. The seat, the spoiler, the deck raising thing. This thing is so expensive, and it's forged carbon too. It's not just like
it's not the cheapest stuff.
No, not at all. I
think it's hilarious.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I don't get it either, but it's hilarious.
And, it's so weird. Mansory's so weird.
So weird, dude. I just listened to that episode not that long ago. It was part of my pre-mentioned project here. But, oh, man. It hasn't gotten any better.
No.
I'll tell you that.
I'm sure, like, the quality of the stuff that they make looks really good. It's just they just do it in such weird ways. Because, yeah, like the
poorly executed, but it's really high quality.
Yeah, because, like, the seat looks like it's extremely well made. The forged carbon hood looks really good. Like, just the quality of work is always impressive. How they execute it is always weird.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember, I think it was the first time that we did the kind of like the Price is Right challenge sort of thing?
Yep.
You did a Mansory
Ferrari, the yellow Ferrari.
Was it a 488 or a 458? I can't remember.
58, I think. Well,
it was the special edition, either the GTB or the Speciale. I want to say it was a GTB, but they went like $500,000 for that thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't get it, man.
And parts of it are really cool. And then parts of it are really bad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So. Speaking of cars that Mansory is bound to get their hands on, the 2021 Gr Supra Sport Top is the target top Supra that I've wanted.
That we all wanted.
Dude, it's so rad.
It looks so much better.
I don't really like the body kit, the SEMA body kit that they put on it. But if you just gave me the regular car as a target top, I'm super duper in on this.
I'm much more in on the target top. I do. Yeah, I think that like the front end with this body kit looks like it's a step in the right direction, but the rest of it is kind of a step backwards. It seems. I don't like the fenders as much. I don't like
it's a SEMA car.
Yeah,
so it's got to have a stupid body kit on it, but and that's fine. Whatever. It's just a body kit.
Yeah.
But hopefully, this means they're going to build me a target top.
They have to, right?
Dude, a target top Supra is kind of like, that's kind of the Supra thing, right?
It needs it. It looks
they do.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't give me a sunroof. Don't give me a rag top. Just Targa.
I don't know. They say in here, the Gr Supra Sport Top is, quote, just an awesome one-off concept, nothing forward-looking to announce.
But if there's enough excitement behind it.
Yep, this wouldn't be the first time that something like that has created enough buzz that a manufacturer will look at twice at their options. Right. So here's to hoping.
Yeah, I think they look really good. And maybe on the next iteration of it, like they got this Gen 1 or whatever the hell Gen the Supra is. And then this next facelift version of this one, maybe they could have some more features to it. Yeah, I think it's the right direction. I think it looks good. I don't, just like a real nitpicky thing is that I don't like how that window, the rear window, what would that be, your B-pillar? Is that an angle?
Yeah.
I want it to be up and down, like vertical, but it's at like it's at like a 80-degree tilt.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. It's not too bad. No. It's just a little bit tilted.
But I'm looking at it going, God, I wish it was vertical because I think it would look better.
Yeah.
But I understand why they did it because they're not going to change the whole car. They're just going to design around the body that they have. But I think if they went and redid the whole thing, you make that vertical, I think it would tie it together a little better so it doesn't look like it's just lopped off.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me, Robbie.
It's getting late.
Man, yeah, I'm getting old. Been super tired lately.
Well, the sun's been down for like 17 hours already.
I go to bed in the dark. I get home well after the dark. Usually when it at this time right now, my determining factor on when it's time to go home is that it's now too dark for me to continue working outside.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's only at like 5 o'clock.
That's when we call it. Yeah, exactly. But I've also been 2 hours away from home when I for work with the work we've been doing lately. So that puts me home between 7 and 8 o'clock every night. So
that's enough.
Yeah, and I leave my house at 6. So
yeah, that's
5:30, 6 o'clock. So
I don't have anything else to say. I think it's a good idea on the Supra, but.
Yeah, I want, T-top, Targa, whatever. Targa makes more sense for that car. It was never a T-top car before.
Right.
T-tops are rad as well. I will accept either. But I really hope that they change their mind on saying they're not going to do it, that this is just a one-off. Otherwise, somebody in the aftermarket better be making this kit. That's all I got to say.
What's that? What was that? ConvertibleCars.com.
Oh, there you go.
They'll do it.
I
bet they'll do it.
Yeah. There you go. Call them up.
Curious if you have to I assume there's like a whole bunch of design changes you have to make for the windshield structure and all that stuff. But man, if it was just as easy as cutting the top off, that'd be great.
Well, it is until you roll it.
Safety third. Or if you just, kind of build like a cage thing. Yeah, it's fine. Just put a roll bar.
It's got quite an A-pillar. I mean, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
So
just move to the Midwest. There's no inspections.
Yeah.
Register in Montana. No one cares.
Fuck it. My dad has to get his cars inspected now that he lives in Missouri, and he hates it.
Yeah, I bet.
Also, apparently, the law is that the mechanic is only allowed to charge $12
for an inspection. That seems like not enough for their time.
$12, and so a lot of them don't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. $12. No, I'm gonna go get shop rate of $100 on anything else.
Right. Well, I think that the politicians are like, oh, well, I mean, all the money you're going to make selling all the things that they got to fix. You'll break even in the end, but that's not how life works.
It's not how it works at all. Because they spent 3 weeks getting that car ready to pass inspection. I'm not showing up to inspection to find out that I need to spend $2,000 to get it passed. I've already fixed all those things just enough to pass the test.
Right.
So as soon as I go home, I'm going to rip those back off and put back on all the things I had before because that's how I want my car.
Yeah.
But hey, what do I know?
I didn't say it was a good idea. I think that's just what they thought was going to happen. So.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know, man.
Me neither. It's easier not knowing.
It's bedtime, Robbie.
Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll catch you.
This will be too late, won't it? This will be too late. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Everybody.
We'll catch you.
Happy New Year, everybody.